welcome to April Got Tired! This is her Today is day 28. Welcome to day 28. Tambourines in your face. Okay, I just want to see how close I can get to you. So, wow. It's been 4 weeks. I don't know. Is that 28 days is 4 weeks? It has been such a roller coaster. On the outside, it doesn't look like a roller coaster. On the inside, kind of a roller coaster. I had a comedy show last night. Sometimes I get booked on stuff at the last minute. So that was cool. It was the Lady Killers. There's a bug on my window. Okay. It was at Lady Killers, and Hattie Hayes runs that show, and I love that show.
The crowd was kind of dull. No offense, guys. I don't know. They weren't really laughing at anybody. And that happens. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today is I've been a comedian for, I would say, since 2015 in April, but I haven't really been doing it consistently, so I'd say about a year I've been a comedian for. And then before that I did comedy improv since 5th grade, like all my life. I've just been really into improv. And when I'll talk about like how I started out doing comedy. I started out, as far as stand-up, like doing characters. I would dress up as people and do voices, and I'd riff on just one tiny little subject and do it for 10 minutes, and that was the whole thing. I'd kind of pre-planned some things, but not really. So I really like doing that. I like doing voices and dressing up, and for a while I was so scared to even be myself as a comedian. I was
scared to do one-liners about my life, you know. That's what I want to talk about today is when you're new at comedy and you're nervous, you're like,
I could never do that. I can't stand up there and let people judge me.
Like all that stuff. And I see a lot of people who I feel, you get a vibe of who could be a comedian. Like everyday people you meet, I can tell who's a good improviser. They don't even know it yet. And then sometimes I'll have them do something and they're really great at it. And I can tell who would make a good stand-up if you just believe in yourself. And if you don't want to get paid. I've only gotten paid once. I think it
was a gift card, $20 to a vegan place, at the vegan place I was performing at, so yes. And then $10 in cash. That was the only time I got paid. It's been great. So it's back to what I was saying. So here's some things I noticed, like when you're a comedian, that you might be scared of. Like this might be stopping you from even trying it at an open mic or something. When you are up there, so here's the first one. When you're up there and you aren't getting any laughs, or people are just kind of like, just staring at you, like, or kind of like this. I want to let you know that you don't care. You do not care. You don't even care.
Personally, I just keep going. I don't even really notice. And I'm trying to notice people in the crowd a little bit more. Because here's the other thing, is if you notice them doing that, you can call them out on it. And that's also can be funny. Like, if no one's laughing, you can say, well, did you all attend a funeral today or something? You know, or you can be like, well, I chose a good day to get out of bed and not kill myself, you know, something like that. So you can call them out on it. If you get hecklers, you can call them out on it. Like if somebody's been really loud in the crowd, especially at a bar. I don't know about a venue. I'm not so sure if that's a good idea, because they paid to go if they're at a venue. But if you're at a bar or a restaurant and somebody's talking really loud and
no one can hear you up there, even with the microphone, you can definitely start making fun of them and they'll leave. Just start saying like, oh, geez, who would wear a purple hat to a comedy show? Or who would, whatever the person looks like, geez, who would have a gazillion tattoos and piercings? You know, whatever. And hopefully they don't kill you after. So here's the second thing. The second thing is you're gonna run into jokes that you've like heard before. I actually saw something on Instagram. He's a puppeteer, like a Jeff Dunham type person. He's a ventriloquist. There it is. That's the word. And he likes getting feedback on his jokes and stuff. He'll post them on Instagram Live or just Instagram.
in like a post, he's like asking like, what's your feedback on this? And he was saying he's working on a new bit. He's working on a new bit about a guy who loses like 150 pounds. And guess what? It was his girlfriend. He's like, I'm working on it. I'm like, stop working on it. Don't work on that. Don't. It's been done. And so you're going to run into jokes like that have been done. And there's not going to be somebody to hold your hand and tell you that, of course. But you're going to be at a comedy club and you're like, wait, that's my joke. And you're going to think they stole it until you realize it's a 30-year-old joke that everyone happened to like have at the same time.
And they think they're original. And they don't even bother to Google in the 1970s. You can Google now, so you can find out. You know, if you're not sure about a joke, you can always just see if it's out there if you want to by using the interwebs. But yeah, I was just like, you know, you're going to run into jokes that have been done before, so don't feel bad. It's just coincidence. It's not always that someone stole it. It's just everyone had the same bright idea that turned out to be not so bright. What was the other thing I was going to say? Number 3 is... Oh, you're going to see a lot of the same comics as you go to more open mics. You're going to start seeing people that you see all the time there. You're going to start recognizing their jokes. You're going to start, when they even open their mouth a little bit, you're like, oh, they're doing that joke, okay. Oh, yeah, that one.
And you're going to be really happy like when they do a new one. There is this one particular comedian I like, Rob, maybe if you're watching, hello. He does a joke about being robbed. He takes his name, and it's such a great story. I love the joke so much. I just never get sick of hearing it. He should put it on an album. Please put it on an album. I'm always like, yes. Like, I'm always like, as a comedian, I'm just like, yes. Tell it, do it. And it's great. Like, I think I will never get sick of it. It's like a joke I want other people to hear. I want my family to hear it. I want my 1-year-old nephew to hear it. I want the birds to hear it, the flowers to hear it, everybody. But then there's some comedians, they get up there and you're just like, ah.
Sometimes they're doing the joke that everyone else does, and they don't even know it. But, you know, it's really like, it's like, no offense, they have a really polished set a lot of times. It's very incognito. You wouldn't expect somebody you're sick of hearing to have a polished set, I guess. But they have a really polished set, and they get up there, and you're just like, you almost want to walk out. Like, they open their mouth, and you're like, oh, they're doing this set. They're doing this whole thing. Because throughout the set, because you've heard it so many times, you're just hoping that throughout this set, that's a set type of jokes. You're just hoping they'll slip in like a new one in there somewhere. Like, just slip a new one. Slip a new one in there, please. Please. I mean, maybe that's selfish. I'm like, entertain me, please, do a new joke.
But I think we're all thinking it. If you've been there, even if you're like someone who's been to that club a lot as just a non-comedian, you're probably like, oh yeah, this person's doing the same set. My problem is I always do new jokes. I get sick of my own jokes, and maybe that's just my personal preference. I'm always trying to think of like new things to talk about, and I'll take like my really long stories and just cut them up into one-liners because I might get tired of telling the long story. Like I have this, I think my neighbors are being loud right now if you hear them. Gosh. Oh God, we have to call the police. Ah! There's this one joke I tell. It's about murder, and I used to be enthusiastic telling it, and that's when it gets a lot of laughs, and I just don't really like telling it. It's
been a few months, so maybe I'll start telling it again. But yeah, that's the other thing is, number 4, you will get sick of telling your own jokes. The consistency is great. If they're, you'll try new jokes, see which ones get laughs, and then put those ones that get laughs into a set, and you just keep doing that set. Because it's the money maker, even though you may not be getting paid. You could go on tour, if you want to set up your own tour, and call the clubs and have them book you around the country. But, yeah, it's like, you get sick of telling your own jokes, and you have to find an exciting way to tell it. You have to just come into it like you've never told it before, Like all last year, that's why I've only been doing comedy for like a year, because
I kind of stopped for a while, and maybe sometimes you need to stop. Here's number 5. Stop and do improv, or start doing painting art. Do something else that's maybe not comedy. Take a month off and see how you feel if you're getting sick of your own jokes. Go out of the country and find some weird people and then talk about them when you get back. Or in the country you're in. And if you go to Europe, find some people wearing assless chaps or building igloos out of strawberries. Just talk about that when you get back. I think that's it. I'm trying to think of anything else I've noticed when I was newer, or as I've gone on. I will add
this. You start noticing people just kind of tell jokes in a similar way. Like the setup, it's either like a story with a punchline or little punchlines throughout, or, one-liners. One-liners, you need to know a lot of one-liners to fill 10 minutes to an hour. But I think you get more consistent laughs, so it's probably worth it. I personally do like one-liners. Or if I can set up a story in a way where there's like little one-liners throughout the story. And one last little thing here, or caveat, I hope I use that word right. If you ever do an open mic and they say you have 5 minutes and you get scared, don't get scared. 5 minutes goes by so fast. 5 minutes is
like 2 stories, or like 10 to 20 one-liners. So maybe that's scary. Maybe the 10 to 20 one-liners is scary. But it's not scary. So you're going to be like, at some point you're going to be like, wow, you're going to wish you had more time. If you do this more often, you're going to be like, damn, 5 minutes is fucking nothing. Some places give you 3 minutes. And that's like breathing. That's just like, and then they're like, okay, you're done. They flash you the light. So, watch for the light. Watch for the light. That means you have like 1 minute left. Maybe you knew that already. Just want to make sure. Alright, so that's this video. And